Hey guys, and welcome into another video. Today we're going to be doing something that I kind of like doing, but I haven't really done it too much on the channel, at least not as of recent. And just going on and finding articles and stuff with hypotheticals or just situations that we can just kind of react to, talk about, get dialogue going in the comment section as well. So if you guys enjoy these type of videos, please let me know in the comment section below or leave a like on it. Let me know you guys enjoy these videos. I found out about 95% of the viewers that watch my videos aren't subscribed. If you haven't already, just be sure to subscribe. We've been kind of sitting at that 750, 760 range for a little while now, so we definitely want to try and get that up as soon as possible. So, like I said, if you enjoy the content, please be sure to subscribe. We do mostly NFL content. We dabble in NBA sometimes. But this article is by Gary Davenport out of Bleacher Report, and it is one player from every team who should be traded. So I figured we'll go down this, kind of talk about it. Let me know who's on your team, if you agree with it or not, and we'll just kind of go from there. So, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. So we're going to start off with the Cardinals, and they're talking about Hassan Reddick. So this is a guy who was a first-round pick, top 15 pick, I believe. So they lost, obviously, Chandler Jones, and they're saying they're going to try and move him. So I don't know about it. I think that he's gotten better. He definitely isn't worth the first-round grade, definitely. He wasn't worth the pick at the time. But when you look at where they're at right now, where they have where they are as a team and kind of hoping for a playoff spot with no Chandler Jones, especially for the rest of the year, it's kind of tough to see them trying to ship off another edge rusher or anybody outside. I don't know how much value you'd get out of him here. I think he'd be worth at least keeping for the rest of the season, seeing what you could do with him from there. But I don't know if I agree with this one, but it might be something they look at just because of the experiment stuff like that. But I don't know. I mean, unless you're trying to move Isaiah Simmons down there, it might make more sense if you're trying to have Isaiah Simmons run there and kind of give him the reins at the position. But I don't know. I don't personally think that it's that much of a team need to get rid of somebody like that. But then again, I don't really know anybody on the Cardinals who desperately needs to be traded, so couldn't be too bad. I'd probably put Patrick Peterson here over Reddick, just because Peterson, I mean, he's been decent, but he's not worth all the money. You could probably ship him out, try and get something out of him. But yeah, Reddick, we'll see how it is. Falcons is Matt Ryan. I've seen this a lot. People are saying, get him to Indianapolis or something. I mean, I just don't think it's his fault. I think it was the coaching. We'll see how they do now without Dan Quinn at the helm and everything. I just don't know if it was his fault or not. But we'll see. I don't know if you're really going to get too much value for a guy like Matt Ryan. He is making a good amount of money, and his talent level really isn't. I mean, when there's guys out there like Cam Newton that you can pay $1 million to and get him for a year, I just don't know if Matt Ryan's really going to be looked at as a quarterback that a team might want. I mean, maybe a team that's trying to win, like the Colts right now. But I don't know. I think that it's probably. I just don't see. I don't see it happening. It's really. I don't know if it is. A thing. Baltimore Ravens, Mark Ingram. Yeah, I could see this. Give the reins to Dobbins. Let him just run wild there. I think you have Gus Edwards still there as well. Ingram really hasn't done too much. I think he and Lamar have a good friendship to where it's going to be kind of hard to get rid of him. Even though they're not really using him as much. He's not as impactful this year. Again, I just don't see what you would get out of him. Maybe a fifth rounder to a team that's desperate for running back if like a season-ending injury or something happens to one of these running backs. But I just don't see a team that would really pay for a Mark Ingram. I think they'd rather go. I mean, Le'Veon Bell was one that they could go after, but there's a lot of running backs around where I think that you wouldn't have to really trade for anything for Mark Ingram. Trent Murphy for the Bills. I mean, I guess. Yeah, it says they're more likely buying than selling. Let's see. There's speculation he wouldn't even make the roster. I was gonna say he's decent. He's definitely a good. I mean, a team that needs an edge rusher definitely could pay a decent amount for Murphy. I think that he would be good to ship out because he's not really needed as much on that line, I guess. Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with that at all. Panthers, Curtis Samuel. I've seen this a lot as well. I don't think there's anything wrong with having 3 good receivers at all. I just think that they're probably not going to be able to keep him. But Moore and especially Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson has been an absolute beast this year for them. So I could see them moving him, but I just don't think it's a need. I think that you can keep him and be fine with it. But yeah, I mean, a team like the Giants is what I've talked about before, that are in need of a receiver that can at least make any impact. I think would be somebody that would buy him at the deadline. So if you were trying to ship him out, this is a good time to do it. Bears, Mitchell Trubisky, yeah, I'd chip him. I think a team should take a risk on him. You probably could get him for like a fourth or a fifth, maybe even, because the Bears really just don't like him that much. But I think that would be well worth the risk for a team, like Indianapolis or something that. Has an older quarterback, or even Tampa Bay or something to that effect. The Saints obviously have Winston behind him, but I think he can go to a team where he can go and be an actual backup and can just refresh, because I think Chicago's just been a horrible thing for him, because he really was having a good start to his year this year, and then obviously Foles took him over, which kind of sucked. AJ Green for the Bengals, obviously, he wants to be traded. We saw the little clip of him, the lip reading of him, kind of wanting to be traded there. And I think it's not a bad case. They have T. Higgins there that's pretty much doing what AJ Green can do. Tyler Boyd's still there, obviously. They have another receiver, too. I can't even think. But I think that he's kind of past his prime. He's not going to get an extension from them. So we'll see what happens from there. David Njoku for the Browns. He's been rumored to be traded since the beginning of the season. The fact that he's still there is kind of crazy to me. But any team that needs a tight end could go for him. A lot of teams do need a tight end. I think he has the ability to be a solid tight end in this league. But they just haven't. His career hasn't panned out how we thought he would. He's a first round, I'm pretty sure. First round pick when he was. Cowboys with Michael Gallup. I don't know if you're going to be able to pay him. They picked the blurriest picture for him. Wow. Oh, okay, they cleared it up. There we go. But he's been very good, man. He's been very good. CeeDee Lamb has been also good. Amari Cooper has been Amari Cooper. So you definitely can't afford to. You can afford to lose him. But I think with Dak Prescott not being there, keeping Gallup is kind of a need if you want to make the playoffs, especially in such a crap division that you're barely winning. And with no Dak, I think you need any weapon you can. So keeping Zeke, keeping all your tight ends, all your receivers, I think would be detrimental to kind of get rid of one of them and leave Andy Dalton with one less weapon. I think that would be kind of hard. I wouldn't agree with it. Gallup is – I don't know if Gallup's value is going to be any higher than it will be at this deadline. So shipping him out would be solid for them, but I just don't know. If you're a team making the playoffs, I think Michael Gallup's a big reason you make it. He's very undervalued in the NFL world. I think he's a very good receiver. He doesn't really get that credit, so his value's high, definitely. You probably get a second-rounder out of him, if I had to guess. But I don't know if you ship him out because you do want to make the playoffs. Denver Broncos, Justin Simmons, you're going to have to pay him, and people don't know if they're going to pay him or not. So they're saying that he hasn't been doing too well. I haven't really watched too many Broncos games, and this has kind of been a weird thing. But, like I said, he is going to be very expensive. So if you're not willing to pay him the bag, you might as well ship him out to a team that will pay him the bag. I think it would be smart for them to pay him because they have a young quarterback in Drew Lock where you're not going to have to put a lot of money into him. Young receiver in Jerry Jeudy, we're not going to have to put a lot of money into him for a while. So you have that room to kind of build off of it. But if you don't want to spend that money on a guy like Simmons, I get it. Let him hit the market with another team or just send him out, get something out of him. Detroit Lions, Kerryon Johnson, definitely. AP's been doing well. Swift's been doing well. Kerryon's not been doing bad either, but he's the odd man out. Get him out of there. Get anything you can out of him. With AP coming in there and stealing the job from both of them, it kind of shows that you need to get rid of one of them. So I'm not mad about that. Jamal Williams could definitely be a starting running back on any other team. Not any other team. On a lot of other teams. I think he is starting caliber worthy. But because they just drafted a guy in A.J. Dillon to be this power back to complement Aaron Jones, and I imagine they extend Aaron Jones because he's having another great season, getting value out of Williams would be very big for them. I think that's good. But he does complement Jones very well. He's a very good complement to him. And for a team that I think is a Super Bowl contender, I've said this since the beginning of the year, I don't know if you want to get rid of that. I kind of keep everybody just in-house and deal with the repercussions out after the season. But, a guy like Jamal Williams has definitely made big plays in prior games where maybe Aaron Jones is struggling, and he's able to do a lot for them. So I definitely like that a lot. If they were trying to ship him out, but I think that you could keep him in-house, at least to try and get the Super Bowl run. Houston Texans, Kenny Stills. I mentioned this in the Giants video I made a couple days ago. Getting Kenny Stills out of Houston is vital, I think. They don't need him. They don't even use him, really. So getting him to a team that maybe is in a tough spot with receivers, whether that be injuries or whether that just be lack of talent, sending him to a team like Washington or New York would be very good because he'll be able to regain that stardom role. Even sending him back to freaking Miami wouldn't be bad. But getting him to a role where he could be that number 2 receiver or at least a viable number 3, just at all in space, be able to do more, I think would be very big for his career. Because in Miami, he was very good. When he went to the Saints, he really got lessened his role, and in the Texans, really, he hasn't had a role too much. So I think getting him to a different team would be big for him. Colts with Brissett, definitely. You have Eason behind Phillip. I think you're going to draft a quarterback this next year, unless you believe in Eason. So getting Brissett out of there, getting some value out of him would definitely be big. Very good backup. I think that he could be a starter on a team, but I don't really see it as he's more of a bridge quarterback, but definitely a really good backup. D.D. Westbrook, another guy I mentioned in my Giants video with receivers. When I mentioned the Giants video, I was talking a lot about how they need another receiver to complement Slayton and Tate because of the Shepard absence, because the team needed offensive explosions. So for a guy like Westbrook, I think that with Keelan Cole kind of came back on the scene this year. He had a good season a couple years ago, and then last year was down year, and Westbrook kind of blossomed in that role. But now this year, Chenault's looked really good. Chark is obviously a top receiver in the NFL at this point, and you have Keelan Cole being that number 3, solidifying that. You have a running back in Robinson who's doing very well in the pass game. Getting Westbrook out, getting any value out of him would be very good for a team like Jacksonville, especially getting draft assets for a young team like that. Chiefs, Anthony Hitchens, I don't agree at all because I think the Chiefs need to just stay put with their team, keep everybody that you can, try and win the Super Bowl again back-to-back years, especially on the defensive side. Don't touch the defensive side. It's already lackluster enough comparatively to the offense. The offense really keeps them in the games. So getting rid of anybody on the defensive side, I think, is just a fallacy. It shouldn't happen. They need to keep everybody they can, especially on that defensive side. They cannot go down another string for that. Raiders, Zay Jones. Yeah, Zay Jones, really got taken over by Aguilar. We didn't think Aguilar signing would be huge, but you think about it next year, too. Tyrell Williams will be back. They have Ruggs coming into his second year. They have Renfro. They have Aguilar. Zay Jones is kind of the odd man out. Again, I just don't think you'll get much value for him. If anything, a 6th or 7th rounder, because I think his caliber can be replaced in the free agency market. So not too worried about that. Desmond King, he's due for a payday. So keeping him in-house is really the hard thing. So this is more likely, yeah. So getting him out is going to be kind of hard because I think he does want to play. I didn't know this, though. The Chargers aren't doing much right now, and he hasn't been on the field, I guess. Wow, I didn't know that. So let's see. He's entering prime of his career, play both slot and safety. Yeah, I've always seen King as a solid, third corner, second corner, and I'm pretty sure he's supposed to be getting paid soon, but apparently they haven't been using him. Yeah, get him out of there. I didn't read up enough on this situation. Almost left the page, but I didn't know that much. So Chargers fans, fill me in on this. What's your situation with King? Do you like him? Do you not like him? How do you want to go about it? Taylor Rapp for the Rams. This is surprising. Rapp is in his second year. Let's see. After a disappointing season as a rookie, yeah, he played 800 snaps, had 100 tackles in his rookie year. He had a really good year. Let's see. I guess what they're saying is that you want to trade him to get more depth because his value's high. I just don't see a reason why you would trade him. That's a great young player that you have on your team. I don't know. I don't agree with that one. Matt Breida, yeah. People thought he was gonna be the starting running back. He's now running back 3, running back 4 even, depending on who you ask. I don't even know if they have 4 running backs. I might have just made that up. But Gaskin's taken over the backfield. Howard's there for like one carry a game that ends up being a touchdown, but Andy's a free agent, so you might as well get at least a 7th rounder for him. Literally anything. Mike Hughes, that doesn't make sense at all. The Vikings corners are absolutely ass. The secondary is really bad for this team. Their defense is really bad, but especially their secondary. So sending any secondary player would be so stupid because you're just going to use whatever you get, like whatever picks you get on a secondary player in the draft. I think that's very stupid. Hughes is young. He's got time to develop. I just don't see a reason. He's not having a great year, but he's also alone basically in that secondary. So I don't know. Jason McCourty, splitting up the McCourty twins. He's an old aging corner who's making a good amount of money and is due for pay, I believe. I think is last year. So yeah, he's decent. If a team really wants it, a team that's trying to win a championship this year, you might want to trade for him. But again, I just don't know why you would get rid of him. You might as well keep him, use him as much as you can, and go from there. But he's expendable, definitely. Marcus Davenport, we've seen this for a couple years. They haven't really gotten the production out of him. He's been very inconsistent. So getting anybody to kind of help or any capital or whatever you can to kind of further along the Saints team, I think would be good. Hendrickson's been playing a lot more for them as well. You obviously have Cam Jordan. You have Demario Davis. Pretty sure you still have Rankins in the middle. I think he's definitely expendable because of how much Hendrickson, team's best pass rusher this year, how much he's kind of jumped on the scene this year for them. I think he's definitely expendable. Get something out of him. Giants, Golden Tate, I've said this for the Giants as well. Even though we need a receiver, getting rid of Golden Tate in his contract would be smart here. Just because unless you really think you're going for the playoffs and you want to keep him for the long term, I think a team would pay for him a good capital, maybe a 3rd-round pick. Because of what his capabilities are, being a frequent pass catcher, a PPR god. I think it's definitely very solid for them to get rid of him and get rid of off that contract to let that money go somewhere else. But Tate is definitely a solid receiver for the Giants. I'm not going to say that it would hurt them more than it would help them, but if you're looking ahead towards the future and with another loss this next week, I think the Giants might be looking towards the future. Even though right now the division is 2 games apart, and Giants have been very close in a lot of games. Even though they're 0-4, 0-5, whatever week we're in, they've had 3 games where they've lost it in the last 2 minutes. So this is a team where, as sad as it is, it's a fight for that division. So it depends on how the Giants look. If they're looking ahead to next season already, or if they're looking still into this year, which, their moves, getting Devonta Freeman, all these signings that last year that have panned out very well this year, and Bradbury being a top corner right now, Martinez doing very well, Fackrell's, I think, tied for, 4th in TFLs. A lot of good moves there. I just don't know if they'd be able to move off of him. But if they are looking to move off of his contract and everything, definitely would try to ship him at this deadline. Jets and Darnold, we've seen this a lot too. Just getting ready for Trevor Lawrence, if that's really the case you want to go to, and just run with Flacco for the rest of the year. I'm not against it. I think Darnold could use a different team, and it would be better for him. Sending him to a Washington or something like that would be good. But again, this is a young quarterback. He has time to develop. He just really hasn't been surrounded by talent. But I'm for anybody getting out of New York with Adam Gase there. So definitely should be that. Ertz with the Eagles, they're not going to extend him. He's having a poor year. I agree with this. Not much to say about it. You have Dallas Goedert, who is a top tight end when he's playing by himself. So I think getting rid of Ertz and not paying him, especially with the down year, it just makes more sense for the Eagles to do. Steelers and James Washington, yeah, he's kind of gone down in the depth chart. He's not horrible. He's not bad. But Claypool, his emergence has been really good. So having Claypool, Juju, and Johnson as your 3, I think definitely bodes well for you guys. So Washington is expendable, especially, like I said, a lot of teams looking for that 3rd, 4th receiver to just kind of help them, give them depth due to injuries or just talent-wise in general. Jaquiski Tartt for the Niners. This is a weird year for the Niners, so I don't really, harsh reality time. I just don't know how anything is going to go with this year, especially with the injuries. So if a team really needs a safety, they could go after somebody like this in Tartt if they need help in the secondary. But like I said, might be just kind of hard to move somebody like that in a weird way. I don't think Seattle should move any offensive linemen. They're 5-0, yeah. So every team's represented as someone's got to go. So they're just saying a backup, basically, or just a decent tackle. They're not really talking. It's like I said, you just had to throw somebody in here because every team needs somebody. So nothing too big there. Blaine Gabbert for the Buccaneers. This doesn't really make sense to me. I don't really know who would be trading for Gabbert at all. So that'd be kind of weird to say. So I don't know. I just don't see anyone trading for Gabbert. In any sense of the way. Vic Beasley for the Titans, another young edge rusher. I just don't know. Again, it's like, why? I mean, I guess if you're not going to re-sign him, because I think they have him on a 1-year deal. Yeah, it's a 1-year prove-it deal. So if you're not going to keep him, yeah. I mean, I know you guys got Clowney as well, so it's not a bad thing. But I still think he had a very good year. It's just, he had 15.5 sacks his first year, I think it was, right? And he's Pro Bowl and everything, but then he's kind of lost it since then. I don't know. I think, again, another team where it's just have as much depth as you can. You never know what's going to happen. Keep yourself loaded as much as you can for the playoffs because you're a team that's looking to go as far as you can. Washington, is this the last one, I think? Yeah, Washington's the last team. Dwayne Haskins, we all know this. He's 3rd in the depth chart. Allen came in, had a very good game until he got hurt. Alex Smith's there. I'd rather have both of them at the helm than Haskins. If you can get anything out of Haskins right now, I think it'd be big. Reports from insiders saying that his leadership really isn't where it should be. I've questioned it for a while now. He's made bad decisions. He's had some plays and some throws where it's like, wow, what a great play or what a great throw. But overall, the majority of the time, he's just looking lackluster, man. He looks like he'd be a decent backup, but definitely not a starter. So if a team really wants to take a chance on him, cool. I just don't know how he's going to go. I think he has 2 more years on his deal. So you could try and get something out of him if you're a different team, or maybe you want to try something. I don't know. I don't think Jacksonville will want him. I know Jay Gruden is there, but I don't even know if Jay Gruden wanted him in the draft. So I just think it's a very weird situation. But let me know what you guys think about it. Which team are you a fan of? Who's representing your team in this article? Do you want to trade them? Do you not? What's a good package for your player? Let me know all of that in the comment section below. Again, if you do enjoy this video, please feel free to subscribe. It does help me out a lot. I want you guys to get all the NFL content you want as well. And this is definitely more of a raw footage type of channel. I don't really like writing down notes and being all things. I like just kind of reacting, just kind of talking. So, like I said, subscribe if you're new. Leave a like if you enjoyed. If you didn't, just refresh the page. Let me know what you think about it the second time. Without further ado, that's going to be it for me. I'll see you guys in the next video.